Hi, I'm Mayce.
And I'm Missy.
We're best friends
and business partners. And each week, we're going to bring you a quote that inspires us, and we're going to talk about it.
Join us as we break down our favorite impactful messages for leadership and share how you can apply them to lead with confidence and purpose.
Get ready for a fun and authentic journey into leadership, life, and everything in between.
Well, hey, bestie.
Well, hey there, bestie. Happy Tuesday.
Yes, happy Tuesday, better known in our world as Podcast Day.
Yes.
Now, listen, we've been doing this podcast for some time, and we have some loyal fans, right? Nancy, my mom, she is really up there in loyalty as far as fans.
I know, like Fancy Nancy, as I love to call her. Shout out to you, Fancy Nancy. She's for sure one, if not our biggest and most loyal listener. She watches on YouTube and is not shy about sharing her thoughts and critiques with us, is she?
No, that's right. I mean, she will let us know. Good one. You girls did great. You girls need to sharpen your skills a little. She'll let us know, which we love her for, right? So,
yes.
Well, I want to let our listeners know that we have another really loyal fan. Now, this man
is so special.
He really is. This man emails us, because we do have a newsletter that goes out, and he emails us almost every week when he receives our newsletter with thoughtful remarks. And we just appreciate it so much. So we are so thrilled that he is here to chat and talk with us today. So without any further ado, we are going to welcome Damian Marquez to the podcast today.
Yay! Welcome, Damian. We are so glad you're here.
Thank you all. Thank you for having me. And isn't it wonderful
to
have parents to be our best cheerleaders, right? And I'd be remiss if I didn't say happy birthday to my spiritual father, Eddie, who just turned 60 something today. And
happy birthday, Eddie.
Happy birthday, Eddie.
So good. Okay, so Damian, we want to jump in. But before we get ahead of ourselves, please share with our audience some of the things about you that you'd like them to know.
Yeah, something about my background. I spent about 35 years searching for who Damian really was, my identity. You know, I try to live through other people's identities. When you have older siblings, coming from a very athletic family, the bar was set high, me being the third boy in the family. So I was always trying to fill big brother's shoes. I mean, I couldn't wait to wear a size 9 to wear my brother's brand new Nikes, right?
Right.
And as you become a young adult, you start to realize that who am I? Who is Damian? I keep trying to fill all these other people's shoes. And that carried me on into young adulthood, into my marriage and being a father. And I just struggled throughout my life finding identity. Even getting into the law enforcement community, I still struggled with my identity because now I'm wearing a uniform with all this authority, but I was still really searching at who really Damian was and who Damian really is. And it wasn't until I was turning 40 that, I finally got the revelation, or finally understood when I got great mentors that came into my life that started to show me what I was really created to do and what my real purpose was. So that's where I'm at now in my life, being 52, is that I just help people find their purpose and let's go get after it. I'm their biggest cheerleader and, we go after it together.
Love that. So you're former law enforcement.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for your service. Law enforcement's really important to our family
and
as well.
And it is service.
Yes, it is. Absolutely, it's service. Talk to us about, because when we were doing our research about you, obviously your company name. So share your company name, and we'll give more details about how people can find you later. But I want you to share the company name because I'm curious the meaning behind
the meaning. Yeah.
Name.
Absolutely. 3 Strong, right? People think of that word or they think of that title. What is 3 Strong? Well, 3 Strong is a lifestyle. It's not really a business. It's a lifestyle on how we're created as individuals with a unique purpose. We're all designed for a unique purpose. And 3 Strong is built on that lifestyle of pillars. How do I get to my purpose? How do I dominate in my purpose? Because we're all created to dominate. We have that dominion authority that our God-given Father gives us. So That's how Three Strong got birthed. It actually came through a vision that I received one afternoon, just pondering where I was at in my life, saying, what's my destiny? What's my calling? What's my purpose? So Three Strong is three pillars. We're a spirit, soul, and a body. And if we don't align our body how we're designed, it's going to be very hard for us to be very effective leaders in this community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really good.
So let's get to the quote so we could talk about it. This is the quote for this week's episode. It's a good one. A good leader inspires people to have confidence in their leader. A great leader inspires people to have confidence in themselves. And that was said by Eleanor Roosevelt. So
it's really good.
Damian, Missy, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Yes.
So Damian, when you hear this quote that great leaders inspire confidence in others, what does that look like in real world, everyday leadership?
Yeah, great question, great quote, right? For me, through my journey and what I strive to do when I have a new client, coaching, mentoring, I help them to discover their true value, their true identity. In order for us to lead, we have to know where our true identity is at so we can know our value and our worth. So that's kind of where I break things down first. Let's find out your worth and your value. Do you know how valuable you are? Do you know what your worth is? And then from there, we can start to build on leadership. So now we could say, when I'm no longer in the room, how is this person leading?
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's so important that self-worth is such an important foundation for people, regardless of age, right? Missy and I both have kids. Obviously, you said you were a father. Damian, you have kids. My kids are a little bit younger than Missy's, but instilling self-worth in children at a young age is so important so that they can see value in themselves. And regardless of what their position, their career, their title, any or all of those things are in the future, they know what they're worth and they know the value that they bring and give to other people. Missy, what would you add to that?
I mean, I could go on and on about kids being a former educator and them knowing their worth and their value, but I'm going to just take it to the workplace right now, because if a leader can inspire their team to have confidence in themselves, to feel value in themselves and feel valued, there's no stopping what that team can do. There's no stopping the heights that that person can reach. And so I love this quote because it really is the heart of leadership. Yes, you want them to be confident in you as the leader, that you're going to take them where they want to go, where the team wants to go, but to instill that in their DNA about themselves and about what they can bring to the team and the company. You talk about working together to do more, you're going to get it every single time.
Yeah, so good.
And I would say also this quote is, when you think about it, it's about leaders pouring into others in such a way that they develop the confidence and belief in themselves that they may have never had before. Right? Like not just in their role. They may have never had it before as a child. Right, Mayce? So Damian, can you share a moment in your own journey when someone helped you believe in yourself before you fully did?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes, I have two significant things that happened in my life as a young adult, then we'll go further. But again, right, it's all about empowerment, right? Seeing the value in someone else. So when I knew my athletic career was over and I wasn't going to be on ESPN, they weren't calling and my phone was not ringing, I joined the trade. Missy, kind of the background you come from. My father was a union worker and I was out there in the trade as an apprentice, but I struggled. I am not mechanically inclined at all. Shocking, right? Coming from a union working family, father, grandfather, a mechanic. I did not like getting my hands dirty. So
Missy would probably say the same thing about herself, right? Her daddy may have been a blue-collar worker, but Missy is not one to get her hands dirty.
Yes. So I met this wonderful man named Terry Moinu who mentored me in the trade as I was in the apprenticeship. And he just kept instilling this law enforcement career for me, which was never on my radar at all. Never was something that I thought about pursuing at all. Nothing, something, I just always wanted to be an athlete. That's all I wanted to be. But every day on the job, Terry kept instilling this and kept pushing me for this career in law enforcement as a first responder. So that's my very first encounter as a young adult, having Terry in my life and having him just kind of mentor me and see the value that I had and the gift that I had to do this occupation.
So good. And then really kind of a flip the script almost, Damian. Can you share a moment when you believed in someone as a leader or a mentor, that you believed in someone before they even saw that in themselves?
That's good too, Mayce.
Yes, that's a good one. And I'm going to use my wife as an example. Wonderful person, just a wonderful spouse. She's just a great worker, always works real hard, but sometimes she undervalues her potential. But I see it in her because I've seen how she's taken care of our family throughout decades, of our young adult children now. And I've always seen that value in her. So when she was offered a promotion and she came home to talk about it, I immediately says, you are more than equipped. You are more than able to handle this task. I believe in you. I know you possess all the credentials to do this job effectively. So 2 years into it, she's thriving. She's just continues to climb, and the ceiling is just never the limit for her.
Oh,
I know that makes her smile to hear you say that about her. You're going to have to be sure and share this episode with her so she can hear it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one of the things that we know about you, Damian, is that you really help leaders when you talked about the pillars, right? You help leaders develop healthy habits. So what would you say is a habit that maybe someone that's listening, right, that could be really a big differentiator in how someone might lead with confidence? What's something that someone has to do, a habit they would have to either break maybe or instill in themselves to lead with confidence?
Yeah, great. Sometimes we have to learn something and relearn something or unlearn something, right?
Sure.
I always talk about the thought process because I go again back to my journey. Where was my thought process at when Damian was a young teenager, then a young adult, and then a father for the first time? So let's break that habit. If you don't have great thoughts, if you can't think of yourself doing something great, then it's going to be very difficult for you to accomplish something great. So we always dive right into that again. We're spirit, soul, body. So let's get into that mental part of this aspect. Let's get into where your thoughts and your emotions come from. And let's line them on who you created to be and how you're got a purpose in your life. So let's get your thoughts, start focusing on that purpose.
So you got to start there.
Well, you always
Yes.
say, Miss, thoughts are things, right?
Thoughts are things.
Whatever you think, so be it.
That's right. Listeners, look all around you. Everything around you began in someone's mind as a thought. Every achievement has. So I think that actually is a really good segue to talk about, for a moment, imposter syndrome, right? Because this quote can lend itself to that for some people, right? Like, as a leader trying to build confidence in someone else when maybe you're struggling to have confidence in yourself, right?
Wow,
like, so
good.
Damian, what do you think? And then Mayce, you share as well.
Yeah, I read this great book on leadership and it talked about perfection gap and imposter gap. And I'm like, yeah, check the box. That's Damian.
Sure.
So what I learn and what I teach is be the best you. Be the best Missy, be the best Mayce, be the best Damian. And you don't have to worry about what the other person is doing. Learn from them and get great wisdom and insight and also add value to that person as well. But just be you. You got the gifts and talents that I don't have. So just go be you and then go and navigate that. And it starts again back to your thoughts. It's like, who am I? What's my purpose? And what was I gifted to do?
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say something similar as far as like authenticity, right?
Yeah.
We may not be great, regardless of your position, but in a leadership role, you may not be great at all the things. And that's okay. You don't have to be great at all the things. You could bring great people around you. I mean, Missy and I joke all the time, she's really great at some things. I'm really great at some other things. Neither one of us are great at math, right? Neither one of us are great at athletics. So if we had to do something that required a lot of math, we're going to bring someone great in it, on our team. We're not going to pretend to be something that we're not. So I think I love what you said, if we could just be the best us that we could be, then you're not being an imposter because you're being the best you. Right, Miss? I
Yes.
mean, do you have anything?
Yeah, I do. I'll share, and then Macy, you can take the next question because I feel like I'm monopolizing. But what I will say is, oftentimes when you will pour into someone else, even if you don't feel like you're qualified to do it, the reciprocal effect of that is that you will become more confident in those areas. You will be able to stand on your confidence because you saw it in someone else, because you fed that. Yeah. And so I think it's, Macy, we always teach about that reciprocal effect, right? Adding value to someone. You don't do it to feel good, but when you do it, it feels good. And so by helping build confidence in someone else, I can just almost guarantee to any listener out there who might not feel confident, with the right tools and the right encouragement, you can absolutely help someone be more confident in themselves, and it'll have that full circle effect.
Yeah, I love that. Damian,
That's so good.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was just
That's so good, right? It's that contagious factor.
Yeah.
Right? It's be contagious in the right way, right?
Yeah. And before I ask you your next question, it just made me think of a recent conversation I had. I was at a dinner with a husband and wife, and and I don't know them very well, but this whole conversation about reciprocity came up, and the husband, from what I gathered from the conversation, the husband's a giver, right? He just loves to give. That makes him feel good. And the wife is like, I'm all for giving, but I also would like to get sometimes. And it was just interesting because you almost see both sides of the equation, right? Like we all want, I shouldn't say we all, really good leaders love to give. And it's exactly what we're talking about. We give not to get, but the getting happens. But it was just interesting that she's like, nobody ever gives to me. I'm always giving. So it was just, I don't know. It was just an interesting conversation, but kind of going back to the quote, Damian.
That is interesting. Yeah. I'm sorry. I had to process it for a minute.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Damian, going back to the quote, do you think there are certain signs or habits that someone has a great deal of confidence, and or are there habits or signs that someone is lacking in that confidence?
And I'm going to jump in there. And are there habits and signs that say that someone has too much confidence?
Yeah. Oh, yes. All the way. Yes, across the board. When I first look at someone coming into the room, and again, going back to my history in law enforcement, is what type of body language is that person conveying or carrying with them? Do they convey confidence? Are they walking in confidence? Are they walking in a certain authority? Because that tells me they know who they are. They're still not walking in this big old room or attending this conference searching who they are. They already know who they are. That's why they're in that room. So that's one indicator I always look at, is the body language. Is what are they portraying? Do they portray confidence, or do they portray some low self-esteem? Okay, then let's pull you aside and let's start working on that, your confidence level, and start giving you some more self-esteem. So body language for me is a real key factor in someone.
Love that. Well,
Missy, obviously, I just wanted to ask you, because obviously you had something in mind when you said,
I don't know.
So what do you think?
Damian, in law enforcement and sports too, I think oftentimes there are these big egos.
Yes.
Right. And so I just wondered how you saw that play out in signs, since Mayce, that's what you said, the signs, and what the results often are from that. Because when Mayce and I train, and I think we actually did a podcast on this, if not, we will, we always start with the Mark Hoffer?
No, Eric Hoffer.
Eric Hoffer quote. It takes a certain amount of ego to grow. Too little and you don't think you can, and too much and you don't think you need to. So I think that's what triggered the thought for me.
Yeah, it's kind of knowing, again, that no one arrives to greatness by themselves, right? There's a team that got you there. Raising kids, it takes a village, right? There's a team that helped you get there. So when you're confident in yourself, you forget about the ego, because you're confident in what you're gifted at. And I always tell people that your gifts and talents aren't for you. They're for those that are around you and that are connected to you. Someone gave you that, so go ahead and honor and steward that, and you won't have to ever worry about your ego and if you're getting the recognition because you're stewarding that gift and that talent that was given to you.
So good.
It's not a gift unless you give it away, right?
Come on.
There's a whole nother podcast right there, Macy. So, Damian, we know how important it is for you to develop people in a way that their legacy outlasts them, right? What can our listeners do to make sure that that is the case for them as well?
So good, so good. When I think about legacy, I'm thinking, what am I leaving behind? What roadmap? What Thomas guide am I building so I could give someone to get them from point A to point B? We all remember Thomas guides, right? So what am I building that, or what am I creating that I could give to someone that they could go ahead and be successful as well? Not exactly follow everything that Damian did, but give them the tools and the resources and the application that they could follow in their gifting so that they could be successful, and then they could lead that to someone else. And then it just, that trickle, if it's like, I water you, you water me, you water the next person, water the next person. And it's this big bowl. And as we tend to overflow, it just goes on to the next generation, and it just never runs out because we continue replenishing each other.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
Well, listeners, I think this is a great segue into this week's takeaway. So if you only take one thing away from this week's episode, let it be this. Confidence in a leader, it's important, but it's not the end goal. The real measure of leadership is whether the people around you walk away believing more in you or more in themselves.
Yeah.
Great leaders transfer belief. They help others see their strengths, trust their abilities, and step into who they were created to be.
That's right. When leaders shift from like seeking followers to really developing future leaders, confident future leaders, everything changes. Teams become more empowered, more resilient, more committed, and that confidence becomes contagious. And the legacy you leave, it's not built on what you accomplished, but on the confidence that you helped cultivate in others.
So good.
So, Damian, no surprise, you were an incredible guest today. If our listeners want to stay in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, they could go to my website, 3stronglife.com. And they can send me a personal message on my email. I respond right away. If you're ever in the Colorado Springs area, definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn or again through my website. Love to have coffee and tea and just hear more about your journey.
Yeah. And of course, all that will be in our show notes.
And how lovely to say that. I don't think we've ever had a guest say, we'll have coffee and tea.
Yeah, no. So, and this is a question, Damian, that we ask all of our guests.
You know what's coming.
You know, because you are an avid fan. What is your favorite leadership quote?
Wow, I love this part of the show. And again, through all the wonderful guests you've had prior to me and will have after me, I just love this part of the show. And when I thought about this, I'm like, okay, what a great leadership quote that I would like to share. And I got this original one that just says, when you over prepare, you'll never underperform.
Ooh,
and I'll say it again,
a good one.
When you over prepare, you'll never underperform. And I think at times, especially in a leadership role, we're always worried about the performance. How am I going to perform? Do I got everything, the lighting, the camera, the mic, everything? But when you already prepare, then you don't need to worry about what the performance is going to come because that's already taken care of itself because you've already done that work.
Yeah,
that's so good. Thank you, Damian.
You
and listeners, do you have a favorite leadership quote? Send it our way. We may spotlight it on a future episode.
Yes, and we'll be back next week with another quote and more leadership insights. And you know what we're going to do.
Say it with us, Damian. We're gonna talk about it. Damian, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Damian.
Bye,
bestie. Talk to you soon.
We want to thank you for listening. If you're enjoying this podcast, please show us some love by clicking the 3 dots to download the podcast. Leave us a 5-star rating on your podcast app and talk about it with other leaders to help them find the show from any of the major podcast apps. We'd love for you to follow us on social media too. Mpactful with an M _ messages on Instagram and Mpactful Messages on LinkedIn.